everybody. We are the older kids, and this is a movie review. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just saw the movie A Quiet Place, which is a reimagining of The Office, starring Jim, Pam, Dwight as a deaf girl, and Michael as a monster. So pretty accurate to the actual show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, it was a horror film, and the first question that I want to know and what everybody wants to know is how long would you survive?
Oh God. I would probably sneeze or something within 15 minutes just out of pure pressure. So,
Peer pressure.
Yep.
Peer
They'd
pressure.
be like, "You need to be quiet," and I'd be like, "Oh God." Yeah.
I'd just be like, fuck it, I'm going.
Yeah.
But overall, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. Honestly, one of the first movies in quite some time that I was A, looking forward to, and B, sincerely enjoyed all the way through. So I was impressed. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. It was, I know it got a lot of hype, but a lot of recent horror movies get a lot of hype anyway because it's apparently the scariest thing ever. But I saw that John Krasinski was in it and he directed it, which I was super kind of intrigued by, and I think he did a wonderful job. But I think you have to go into the movie with a sense of I'm going to take it as it is, because when you look closer through the lens on it, there's a lot of things you can nitpick on there.
There are a lot of holes, a lot of questions that are raised, but it's a very it's a unique.
It's a new
idea.
concept. I like the premise. The premise of it was what got me interested in the first place. Mm-hmm. A scary movie where you can't make a noise, what? Because screaming, horror.
Right. Well, and generally when you go to see a movie, you're going to expect a lot of noise. And
right.
This one.
Also, a disclaimer for people who it's probably out of the theaters now, but if you were going to see it, don't bring a baby.
Yeah.
To the movie.
Yeah.
Someone brought a fucking baby.
The irony.
And it just wouldn't shut up the entire time. I mean, after the first 10 minutes, the lady left, which was nice, but I felt bad too because she paid money to see it.
Right, she had to leave. And
but
I think her husband stayed and watced the movie, which is even more sad.
That's awesome.
But
I would have done the same thing. I'd be like, get that baby out of here. I don't care if it's my son.
Is our child.
I don't care. Yeah, overall, I thought it was scary. It had really good set pieces. It didn't over-explain anything, which was kind of good and bad because, I don't know, you're just thrown into the world. We don't get any backstory on where these monsters came from or, why they destroyed the planet.
You're kind of going in blind whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
There's every scene, even, from the very beginning was very unexpected, I feel.
Yeah, well, we'll probably get into spoiler territory, so if you would like to see the movie, I highly recommend go see it first and then watch this. But if you're somebody who wants to know before you see the movie, stop. That's what bad people do. The first scene, they're walking, John Krasinski, his wife, who's played by his actual wife, Emily Blunt.
She's also great.
She did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had 3 kids. One who's deaf.
The sister.
The what?
The sister is deaf.
Yeah. I said that.
I know. Just clarifying
Oh.
who she was.
And then 2 little boys. And the first sequence is the littlest boy gets like a little toy rocket, and it made noise and killed immediately. I was like, whoa! All right, I didn't know it was gonna be that kind of movie, but I was put off guard immediately, which I liked. They're completely silent the entire time they were rummaging through this supermarket.
Yep.
And then the first sound you hear is the rocket.
Very loud.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I really like the way that it was shot through the perspective of the deaf girl, because all you see, you're just walking along, it's in her POV shot, and all you see is John Krasinski turn around with his horrified look on his face, start running backwards. And you know what I thought would be even better if they just had the whole sequence like that, because she turns around and he's trying to grab the kid, and he just finally gets taken by this monster with no noise. I thought that would have been even more poignant.
Completely silent.
But what did you think of the performances?
Sorry. It really threw me off. By the actors?
No, the monsters.
Beautiful, wonderful. So talented.
Those computers really do work nowadays.
I thought they all did a great job. John Krasinski is great in his role. A different role. I mean, he's still Jim to me, but
Which is super off-putting.
Once you get used to it, though, I mean, he did a good job. I thought. The kids were great. Even the youngest, the little boy, he was I think supposed to be 4 in the story, and he did a good job. Emily Blunt is fantastic. She was the best part of that whole movie, I feel.
Yeah, I'll agree. I think Emily Blunt stole the show for me. John Krasinski, it's hard for me. I mean, it might just be because he played the Jim character so well, but when he tries to be serious, I can't take him seriously at all. At all.
Getting used to.
Especially with his coiffed hair the entire time. His hair was perfect the entire movie.
Wow.
In this post-apocalyptic world. And I hope that was something that he was super adamant about.
Reshoot it.
The makeup artist is you're post-apocalypse, you should probably no.
Ragged, yeah.
No. The coif.
I mean, even his wife and his children looked a little disheveled.
Yeah.
I feel
They were dirty.
But
he wasn't dirty the entire time.
he had a barber somewhere out in the woods.
The dialogue is super clunky.
Didn't like.
So it's good that it's a quiet movie most of the time.
I do still wish that they would have left nearly all dialogue out, if not all. A completely silent, speechless movie,
Yeah.
I think would have had a better effect, because I feel the feeling was kind of lost as soon as John started talking. For me. Maybe just the choice of words, but I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, and I saw John Krasinski was one of 3 writers on the movie, so I don't know how much he had in input on the dialogue, but yeah, I would have been okay with it being completely silent, except for, the movements and
Sure, yeah.
sort of things.
Just the dialogue.
Yeah. Anyway, the monsters themselves, what did you think? Were they scary to you? Were they just sort of meh?
Well, I'm not the kind of person that finds monsters to be scary. That's not what really truly scares me.
What truly scares you?
I'm more of a paranormal kind of person. I'm afraid of ghosts
Yeah.
and things like that. So monsters a physical thing that you can kill. I mean, these were hard to kill, but still. Doesn't really get me. These were really interesting, though. I think they were very well designed, and just given the eerie, silent feeling of the movie, I mean, they do the job. They are scary.
Yeah, I like how they're like had their head kind of had
Their
the
head,
weird
like,
came out of their.
is all misshapen.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're just one big eardrum on the inside.
So, and they're like unkillable apparently to a certain point. I remember in the movie like we see John Krasinski's office because he's trying to like contact other people like through a ham radio.
He's doing research on them as well.
And like there's a big board on it that just says like armored, blind.
Yeah, like
what is their
indestructible.
what is their
Yeah.
weakness? It's just like, I mean, it's a fun way to like show without telling what like what kind of happened. Overall, like I like the monsters. I just don't believe that they were something that could take over. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that they had armor and they were bulletproof to a certain
To a
point,
term, yeah.
But I have
Don't
a hard
tell me
time
like a
believing-
bomb ain't gonna
right,
like rip that
exactly.
thing
You
apart.
can't find some way or gas them or something.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with that.
But we go to find out that their weakness is sound.
The irony.
Like large, because what happens is her hearing aid, the deaf girl is trying to get, or John Krasinski is trying to help his daughter hear, so he's building like an earpiece from like a medical book he found, and the thing gives off feedback, which if the creature hears, it like freaks out.
Yeah, so a certain frequency is just too much for their giant ears to handle.
And why did you think that was clever? I didn't think it was that clever.
I just don't, personally, I don't understand how or why that would work. That might just be purely my ignorance.
I mean, it's annoying for us with human ears, like the noises. So I feel like I get it I get where they're going with it, but I feel like if I was in that world, my first like instinct would to be like, if it hears really good, like human ears, like pop the ear with a loud noise, you know,
You make them deaf.
or
whatever.
like some like figure out how to take away their hearing.
Well, I guess my question is...
Soundproof the world.
Well, I guess my question is, though, because in the movie, the hearing aid only goes off when the creature gets close. Is that just...
That's true.
Do we only... Should I say, do they only focus on the noise when the creature gets close? Because it seems as though the sister doesn't hear it either until they get close. So what about this creature sets off this hearing aid? That's what I don't understand.
That's a good point. Because yeah, it was when the creature was close that it kept going off.
Right, and that's why she...
No, there was one time. I thought there was one time when she was at her brother's grave that it went off. Or is that not right?
I don't...
The very first time she turned it on, I thought it wouldn't.
I don't think that was at her brother's grave. I feel as though that was only when the creature was
Oh.
close.
Well, I know that the creature focuses on the loudest sound nearby, which is in one part they light off fireworks and the creature goes away, which is pretty smart and pretty clever.
That was a cool scene.
Otherwise, another problem I had with it, and I know that we're focusing a lot on the problems. Overall, the movie is very good.
Very good.
I
Yes.
recommend it.
Loved it.
I wouldn't say I loved it,
I loved it.
but I would, I'd have a one-night stand with it and call it the next day.
Sure.
Go to Perkins or something. I think it wanted to be a family drama. Like, I saw interviews with John Krasinski. He's like, the movie's about family. And I don't know why he talks like this, but the movie's about family. And I was like, okay. And there was a very surface level story of him. Like, his daughter thinks that she was responsible for the kid's death and that her dad doesn't love her anymore and stuff like that. But it was just super generic to me, and it didn't really delve deeper.
Yeah, I remember him saying in his interview specifically that it was about family and how far you would go to protect your children.
So yes, it's a scary movie, but what was in it is a story about this family trying to survive, what would it, what would you do for your kids? Like, what extremes would you go to protect?
Which apparently for John Krasinski wasn't that far.
He yelled.
In the end, he did yell and sacrifice himself. Until that point, he left his kids kind of high and dry. So.
Yeah, that's right. The whole movie is tense. I'm on the edge of my seat. And there's fun little Hitchcockian moments of where the audience knows something, where the character doesn't. And there's the scene in particular where she uproots a nail in one of the floorboards. And we're all like, oh shit, she's gonna step on that. And she does. And it's like...
It's like a solid 5-10 minutes of just cringing.
And then they keep going down that fucking staircase. And I think they're gonna hit it every time. Every time I think someone's gonna hit it.
That was the scariest part of that movie for me.
Was the nail.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she has really fast birth. Really fast tub birth.
Yes. That goes very well, given the situation.
I don't know what birth is. I mean, I don't know how... I don't know how people birth themselves, but... I don't know. I'm pretty sure...
Did you birth yourself? I'm coming.
I'm pretty sure I saw the pregnancy video, and it was more than 2 minutes.
Yes, generally, yes. Birth takes
but she
a little
she
longer.
screamed once, and then the fireworks went off, and then the next scene here's the boy, here's the baby,
and it's perfectly clean and nice
I know,
and
right?
wrapped up, and I'm like,
It's a
where
Hollywood
did you get
baby.
that thing to swaddle it with? Whatever.
and then it doesn't cry the entire
It's a very quiet child. Yes.
John Krasinski has to take her and the baby to. I totally remember this now. Their idea of a soundproof basement is a hatch with a mattress on it. Sound can't go through here.
It's not even a door. They just slide the mattress over the top. It works.
And they're talking.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he has to be by a loud waterfall to work in the open, but mattress works. I mean, and that's another. It's really if you nitpick at the movie, there's a lot of things you can find.
Right.
But if you take it for what it is, you're gonna enjoy it. Mm-hmm. John Krasinski ends up sacrificing himself for the kids, which is it's a very sweet scene. Kind of got me in the heart there. But then we never get time to mourn his death because it's
the action continues.
Let's go
immediately.
Yeah, and they end up. The daughter finally ends up knowing that the weakness of the creature is her earring egg. Hearing egg.
Earring egg.
I wish that was. Little hearing egg.
Take your egg, Dad. It's not going to work. It never works.
Throws it against her face.
Damn it.
I have to look at my book.
Signs, damn it. I don't know sign language.
My book.
Just paging through I don't know.
I don't get it.
Don't
It
understand.
says right here. Anyway, the girl finds out that her hearing aid is the weakness, and she plays it for the monster in his head, and then Emily Blunt shotguns it, and then she plays it over a loudspeaker, and then a herd of them come in, and that's where the movie ends.
A herd of two.
Yeah, a herd of two.
A whole bunch of them.
So they become crazy action stars.
Yeah.
And she cocks a gun and stuff. Now I hear there's gonna be a second one, which I don't like because I don't know where you go from there.
I'm not a sequel person.
I mean, the only thing that I would be sort of okay with is a prequel of like where the creatures came from and how they sort of took over, because those were the only really questions I had. Like
Right.
I mean, I sort of cared about the characters, and I kind of care where they go next, but not really. Like, I just, all right.
You can kind of assume. I mean, there are only 2 monsters left.
In that area.
In that area, yes.
so,
So I feel like if you're going to continue it, it would be like, okay, we've killed these 2, and now we're going to set off to find
And,
the rest
yeah,
or something.
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it has enough to it. To
No, it
continue
doesn't
the
have
story.
it's a very good, concrete, concise story for what that is. Like, adding to it is just gonna, like, it's putting more Swiss cheese on a sandwich, and then
more
suddenly you were gonna go with the whole analogy. I was just gonna go with the flavor analogy of if you put too much Swiss cheese
I
on a
like my
sandwich.
analogy.
I'm gonna go with mine. If you put too much Swiss cheese on a sandwich, it gets overly Swissed. And then it tastes bad. That's what sequels are.
What an analogy.
Who are we if we can't protect them? We have to protect them.
I highly recommend you see it. If it's still in the theater, go. If not, it's definitely a rent buy for me. What about you?
I agree. I will buy it as soon as it is available on Blu-ray or DVD.
Combo pack.
Yeah, definitely intriguing, interesting. Keeps you on the edge of your seat. I would say the entire time.
Yeah.
So
It's
great watch.
I would classify it more as a thriller than a horror, and it's got thrills.
Thrills and chills.
And it's been one of the better horror-esque movies I've seen for a while, and
Most definitely.
I'm willing to forgive a lot of faults for it being good. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you'll have your hearing eggs.
Earring eggs.
Huh? It's a callback, people. It's a callback. Until next time, keep the peace on treat hold.
Amen. Dad, that's a hearing aid? Yeah. He never learned how to read.
We made a much better movie.
We did.